Hey guys, it's Ditos, and I'm having fun with light machine guns. There are quite a few different ones, and many with very interesting talents. There are also many different subversions of same machine guns, and right now I'm carrying with me two different ones. One, which I'm using now with quite a big magazine, quite heavy damage, but somewhat slow rate of fire and quite unstable. And the other one I actually have is somewhat the opposite of this one. So this big magazine machine gun, it works, it definitely works. You get the suppression effect, you get the damage, you get the big long magazine, and with it also comes a big long reload time. It is not a bad gun, it is pretty strong in the case of damage, but it has a very slow rate of fire compared to many of these other guns. It shoots less than 500 rounds per minute, which is basically nothing compared to some other SMGs or even some other machine guns. If we should compare it to a submachine gun, it is definitely slower to rate of fire, but it often than not does 2 times the damage that a single submachine gun shot would do. So theoretically, it is still worth it. So only problem we have right now can be the handling on occasions. This weapon I'm using is affected quite heavily by its talents. It already has a horrible rate of fire, 10% improvement for that, and well, on the cost of handling, we have damage increase, so this weapon is somewhere in the gray area. It's not the best, but it's good for the damage output it has and the long magazine. But to burn something down quick, this is not the weapon for it. It will take a while just to burn the opponent down, and of course you need to be exposed when you're doing it. If compared to other M60s, it does have bigger damage, but it has very poor handling and very horrible rate of fire. It does take a while to burn down opponents with this weapon. But okay, I also have another weapon which is pretty much the opposite of this one. The RPK-74, which is a Russian machine gun. This is pretty much the opposite. It has smaller damage, fires better, and smaller magazine. It also doesn't have that huge of a spread that other machine guns has, the M60 has. And the main reason I actually listed it here as the opposite of the M60 is because of its talents. Mostly because of Frenzy. So, reloading from empty grants me 35% weapon damage and 35% rate of fire for 7 seconds. And I can actually shoot 1.5 magazines during that time with this gun. Just because the rate of fire gets upgraded so much. Yes, of course, the weapon talents are important, because the RPK has such a huge rate of fire already. He gets it upgraded by another 35%, which brings it up to a like 900 rounds per minute. And why it works so well with the RPK is because you can burn out the magazine while this frenzy ability is still running. And you can burn out another half of a magazine actually. Of course you can move this upgrade from the RPK to M60. But with M60 it will take you, I think it was 2 or 2.5 seconds longer to reload your gun than it did with the RPK. Plus the long magazine means that the effect will finish before you are finished with your magazine. As it may sound like a good thing, it actually isn't, because you might need to take cover, and therefore you want to have as much fire rate as possible so you can burst out most of your magazine. Because you want to utilize your frenzy bonus, and with a long magazine like that and already slow rate of fire, well, it can cost you if you take too much damage and you need to take cover, and you might actually lose half the time. So that is the reason I have RPK. It already has a big rate of fire, and boosting it up to 900 for a machine gun is pretty darn good. Plus it gets another 4k damage added to it, and it can burn down opponents pretty fast. It usually takes me 2 magazines to burn down regular armored opponents, so while with the M60, well, it would consume a lot more time to inflict such heavy damage. So this is the reason why I prefer the rate of fire on my light machine gun. I can utilize it so much better, especially with an ability like Frenzy. While of course the unhinged talent could actually work with the RPK as well. But I just want to utilize in something that gives me damage and gives me rate of fire. And that is pretty much the both of it. I'm sure there might be some other guns like, what was it, L86, which can work pretty much a similar way. It also has a magazine like RPK, and I think it can be upgraded to even hold more bullets. So most of my upgrades with the RPK I prefer to use are for accuracy. Although with the M60 I went for stability because the stability loss over damage was just a bit too much. What's the big problem with light machine guns is that they are short/medium range weapons. Yes, of course they can work in long range as well on occasion, but it's quite hard to keep them steady and stable. These medium ranges, well, this is where the machine gun performs its best. Actually, even in short. It all depends on the situation you are in. So this was my take on the machine guns. But as usual, thanks for watching.